Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ukulele Underground podcast. My name is Aldrine Guerrero, joined by, as usual, Mr. Aaron, the voice, Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
And Mr. Kahai, the legend. Fergan, say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
This is the sunglasses episode, gentlemen, and we have some esteemed guests joining us. Mr. Daniel Cummings to my left,
Hi guys.
and Mr. Mark Baldonado right behind me.
Hello.
So yeah, this is the welcome guests. Yeah. So these two guys, they're very dear and near to my heart, very special to me. Music brothers, just seriously, these are some of the two of the best people in the world right now. And I have traveled all around the country with these guys. Sorry, county with these guys. All around the county with these two guys, playing music, playing all the grad parties back in like 2000 to 2003 or 2002, whatever it was. We played all the grad parties. We played all the Kukui Grove events that you can think of. You know, like I did it all with these two gentlemen.
More than you can count on one hand.
Yeah, on 50 hands. But it's been it's been an awesome time. So they're here. They're going to be sharing some of their we're going to be sharing some of our stories. They're going to be sharing some of their knowledge. So these two are great music producers. The reason why I do music production is because of Mark. Actually, Mark introduced Cool Edit Pro to us, or to me. I can't tell you how he did it. It's not. It's not the best story.
Yeah. But that's what turned into Adobe Audition, right?
Yes. So it turned into Adobe Audition. So the main reason why I know how to get the sounds of my ukulele into a computer is all because of Mark Baldonado. But he's a familiar face. He's been on this podcast before. You guys should know him. He's offered his ukulele advice. So the reason why I basically play the way that I do is because Mark was there to kind of to teach me how to clean up my act. I was not that great of an ukulele player when we first met, but Mark was very disciplined. He knew what I had to do on my ukulele to kind of clean up my act, and so Mark, right on, man. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for knocking me down a peg. That's basically what happened. In past episodes, you guys we'll probably link it below. But Mark and I competed, on my very first ukulele competition, and he showed me how, and he showed me like how you're supposed to play the uke, and now decades later, and I'm still reminiscing to that day because that's basically where my life turned around. Because I met him, and through him I met Ryan, who's also an owner of Ukulele Underground. So that's where my life just made that switch. So he's very important dude. And this guy. I mean, where do I begin? I know social media because of this guy. You guys know me because of this guy. I wouldn't have even been on the internet if it wasn't for this guy. This guy is the one who showed us that you can be anything that you want to be. You can be somebody on the internet. You can play music. You can get your music heard by anyone. It's exactly like everyone. He was a household name. And he still is a household name on Twitch now. You're like a household name on Twitch, right?
My household, I guess.
Yeah, and mine. So it's two household names. So but Daniel Cummings, he's made music, he's made albums, he's also played all around Kauai, all around Hawaii in general, right? He played in various different islands and stuff too, right? Yeah. So he's written some amazing music. He's still writing some amazing music. So if you guys follow him, you can follow his journey. He does music stuff on Twitch. He plays video games. He also he does music production as well, right? You make beats and stuff, and you still write music and whatnot. So if you guys have any music production questions, any music writing questions and stuff, feel free to ask them, and we'll see what we can come up with. Mark also does some. He was the drummer of our band one time that Daniel is wearing a t-shirt for. It's a throwback, man. So Mark did the drums, for our old band, and Dan wrote all the songs and stuff. So. These guys are a treasure trove of musical knowledge. So make sure let's take advantage of that and let's just ask him some stuff today. All right. So first off, let's answer any and all of the questions you guys had before today. So any question that we got through email, we got through voicemail, through psst, psst on the side of the street and stuff, we'll answer as much as we can. So Kahai, what is our first question?
People are still rolling into
right
the chat, so maybe we'll give them a little bit of time, and I don't know, we'll talk about something else because we don't have many questions.
So we've had Mark here before. We talked about like how he got into the ukulele and stuff. So Dan, you're a songwriter. How does ukulele fit into your songwriting?
So I grew up in Hawaii, so predictably that was the first instrument that I got my hands on, and I always found the ukulele to be the most accessible. I think everybody agrees it's like the easiest instrument to pick up. You learn your first song, you get your surf down, and I was a little kid. I got my first ukulele and learned, and I come from a family of musicians, but I never really. I felt like they kind of expected it. So because of that, I was like a rebel and I didn't want to play. And I pushed music away for so long. And in high school, I kind of started to take it seriously. And I just always found the ukulele to be the easiest thing for me to write to. And even till this day, I still haven't really learned all my chords. But I know enough where I can write with the ukulele better than any other instrument.
And that's why you're perfect for this show, because the audience is just a bunch of people who are like starting out and writing music and singing and enjoying the ukulele, but that's basically your path back then. Like you enjoyed the uke so much and just put lyrics to whatever chords that you were playing. So not and not having too much knowledge in chords and music theory and all that stuff, but I'm pretty sure you have more now than you did before. But like what was what would you say is a successful formula for like writing a song? What's this like easy successful formula? Say someone out there wants to try to write their first song, right? Like what's some steps that you would take if you were in their shoes? Okay,
so one thing I would recommend, and this is just off the top of my head, we didn't talk about this or plan this out, but honestly, don't be afraid of those chords have been used, because everything's been used. I think Mike said that, right?
Yeah.
It's everything.
Don't worry about copying anyone.
You're not gonna come up with something new. But so get that out of your mind and actually do the exact opposite. Find a progression you like and use it, and you can make it your own. And that's a great place to start. Once you get over that hump and you stop trying to pioneer music. My method, like a lot of people, I just find chords that I like, play it, and just don't think about it. Just hum and see what comes out. Just freestyle, and from there, I usually find a melody that I like. That's kind of like, thankfully, that's I would say my gift. I have a way with just. I always hear melodies, so that's kind of an easy thing for me. But once you get your melody, then you can worry about lyrics. That's how I approach songwriting anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as just la-la-laing your way through whatever chords that you like, right? And then just after that, you can worry about the lyrics. You don't even have to write lyrics. You can just write a whole song with like da-da-das and la-la-la. It should be all good. And then just write the lyrics if you want to, But for the most part, melody, and we've talked about that in this podcast a lot, melody is king. Like really, that's
so king.
You can have like the best melody or the worst lyrics, but if you have the best melody, that's
gonna get stuck in people's head.
Yeah. I mean, we always refer to, or at least I do, "Hello Goodbye" by the Beatles. That song is nothing but contradictions. Like all of it is just like you say yes, I say no. You say stop, I say go. And it's a hit song. It's like it doesn't, It doesn't have to be anything.
What was the last time we mentioned too that like what was it like yesterday wasn't it? Didn't you say it was like sunny eggs?
Yeah,
scrambled eggs? Yeah. So it's like even stuff like that.
Yeah. So things like that where like you like that. Like that C to E7 or that that jump from the 1 to that to that E7 chord, right? So he's just like, I like this melody of da 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 da. So it's just like scrambled eggs, and that's all he had. And then like he just wrote meaningful, good lyrics later. But
Is that a real story?
Yeah. I mean, allegedly. Let's just say allegedly.
Yeah.
Maybe what
Wow.
if it's not? I don't want people to
No,
just,
keep
just put it in
telling
the
me. That's
comments.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's that's one of the stories of that. I've read enough Beatle books. But yeah, so it can be anything, and that's really if you have your ukulele in hand, just put a bunch of chords together. You don't even worry about like music theory and things like that. Like how did you know like just what chords to use?
So just like, I mean, it's really the way that most kids, when we were growing up, learn how to play ukulele. You meet people, you watch them play, and you just share. It was like trading cards or trading pogs, like, oh, I learned this chord, and oh, I learned this chord from
Yeah.
so-and-so. Oh, I watched him do this. Oh, is that the same chord? It sounds the
Yeah.
same. And you just put together your own little repertoire of chords. But yeah, I found that for me anyway, when I have a hard time, I just try to take what I know works and just see if it can work in a different order.
Yeah, and I mean if you just throw like music theory out the window, just go with whatever sounds good to you, right? Like
Honestly,
just,
I don't.
yeah.
Theory is like not on my mind at all when I make music.
It's like this sounds good, so
Whatever
that's it.
sounds good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I remember like working with you. It's just like I don't know what chord this is or whatever. Like you would just put your fingers in some places that sounds good, like
Is this a chord? I don't know. But it makes sound.
yeah, and that's really it. Like I think we had.
Is this tell me?
Yeah, like you had this riff and you were like kind of showing it to me. You're like I've been writing to this, like to these chords and stuff. What are these chords? I'm like, oh, it's like D or F major 7 to the G7. No, sorry, to the. Who am I? Yeah, G7. Then to the C with the add 9, and then to the A minor 7. But then you don't need to know any of that stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't
Right
listening.
to
I'm
it,
sorry,
right.
bro.
You came up with those chords on your own
Because it sounded
because
good.
It sounded
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what what we mean. Just try it. Just don't be afraid to mess up, because if it doesn't sound good, then it doesn't sound good. Like your ear should tell you that it's like, oh, well, that maybe not that chord.
Yeah. I think that's an important message to send to people especially people who are new and on the fence. Theory can be intimidating for a lot of people, and if it's not if it's not your style of learning, don't let it stop you from making music or creating or learning. Just jump in and try and find what feels good to you. You'll know it. You'll feel it.
Yeah, in this show we do, and which should have been due like last week and this week, songwriting challenges where we where we set them up with like, oh, here's some chords or here's a key or whatever, and then just write to it, and then like everyone sends or whoever wants to send their video or audio clip of songs that they write and stuff, and we try to encourage people, and that's why I figured you guys would be the best guests for this, because now moving over to Mark. So Mark, you've been producing some pretty cool beats lately. So some people here, they're interested in in some of the equipments that that you would use, some programs that you would use and stuff. They've asked Kahai these questions before, and how to make music production on your computer. So how do you do it?
I like to use. Because I come from a drumming background, so it's important to me I need to feel the instrument. Like I'm constantly tapping, and I guess my favorite instrument that I use for production is Native Instruments Machine. That is like my favorite. I like that because it just has all these great sounds already built in, and you just load whatever sounds you want like a kit, and I just start messing around, just start making loops basically, and building these sort of blocks, and slowly sometimes you get something. Something's like, it's scrap, I'll use it later. But then, as you keep going, you just keep adding. Then you add the bass, you add your guitar, you add a synth, whatever, all this stuff. It just, it's again like touching upon like with Dan. Whatever sounds good.
Yeah.
And what's helpful, I think, with some of these production software, it's like. Dan, because we both use Machine, there's like this chord plugin that helps you just. It's like a cheat
you
code.
don't even need a keyboard.
You don't
You don't
even
need a
you don't even need music theory.
That's cool.
It just tells you, oh, these
Why
are
am
a set
I
of
working
chords.
so hard?
Right. And so I would just
robots are
play
coming.
around. It lays it out, and I just kind of tap it, and then it's like, wow, those are really nice chords, and then I just start building from there. And it's like it's slow at first, but when you kind of know it when it's like, ooh, this sounds good, and you start adding more, it just starts to build. And from there, it's sort of just I like to just throw everything in there sometimes, then start to arrange and then start to edit out, and then from there you start to have like your structure of your song, you know. So that's one of the things too. And I also I like sampling. That's always fun, just to always listening to different styles of music and get like a 4-bar loop or something, or chop it up. So that's kind of like my thing that I like to do now. But sometimes, I don't know. I get a lot of influence for just watching a lot of people on YouTube, Instagram, or whatever. And sometimes I'll like bookmark like a certain. Some guy would play this nice guitar riff or something. It's like, oh man,
Yeah, sample it.
I'll sample it.
It's like sample.
And I'll add that, into like whatever kind of beat that whatever I feel like. But that's just one of my methods out of it. So
That's cool, because I mean, as ukulele players, as technology kind of moves forward and stuff, and there is a lot of technologies available for us to get our music onto our computer, onto the internet, and to be able to share with people and stuff. So I know a lot of you folks, have tried to make music and have tried to put your ukulele or yourselves on a little program and stuff. But there's all these other things that you can also do. Just like Mark, he's taking these samples and he's making beats and whatnot. You can put ukulele on those beats, or you can sample the ukulele thing that you're doing and make a song out of that. There's all these awesome possibilities, to with the technology that's available to us now, and it's really, really, really cool. And I really encourage everyone to just check it out, check out what's available. And I mean,
Never been easier.
It could be expensive, or it could be something that if you have like certain things just lying around. If all you need is a computer, right? Honestly, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need.
Well, we
Like,
got a question in the chat that kind of applies to that. So it says, as the UU community has a lot of ukulele newcomers, do you have any suggestions for people who are looking to make the jump from just banging out their first few songs on the ukulele to trying some basic recording at home? So like, do you need a uke with a pickup, or and with that, do you need like the iPhone iRig, or just how do you get it into GarageBand, and what would be the process just for a beginner?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like you just try it with whatever you have right now. Don't go out and go like buying all this equipment and stuff, but just try it out. Like a simple, I know they have like GarageBand for iPhones and stuff that you could just mess around with.
everything
Just
on that.
built-in mic.
Yeah, but
You can
built-in
use-
mic on your phone.
could
You don't
do
even
that,
need to do like all this fancy like iRig or whatever. Like all that stuff comes later. Like honestly, you just want to try it out first. You want to get a feel for how the program is, and then maybe like, okay, well now I want it to sound good. Like now that I've gotten a feel for it and stuff, it's kind of like buying your first ukulele. You're not just gonna go out, save your money, and buy a kanilea right off the bat. Like you're gonna go get your first instrument that's like, I don't know, like $100, and just kind of feel it out, see if you like it and whatnot, and get proficient and get good with the instrument, and then you move on to a nice little setup, just like how you would with the recording. So since most of us have phones already, you already have in your pocket probably like
studio.
yeah,
That's
a studio. Exactly. So but you guys are well versed in it, because I don't know, I don't use all this technology stuff. I'm still like, here's a microphone, I record myself. So this is perfect that you guys are here, because you guys know way more than I do on this subject.
No, that's exactly it. And whatever you're watching this on right now can probably record you one way or another. You don't have to. So one way of going about it is getting an audio interface. I know you talked about that before, and you can plug directly in if your ukulele has a pickup, but that's not the only way to do it. You can get away with using the built-in mic in your phone or your computer, and just playing whatever instrument you have, and you can layer tracks in something like GarageBand, or there's a lot of free software out there for whatever platform you're on. But GarageBand's an awesome one because if you get really comfortable in GarageBand, you can step up to Logic, which is also made from Apple. And
Similar,
yeah. It's these tools are super easy and user friendly, I promise.
Yeah.
Can I ask? So if you're going from just using, your phone or GarageBand or whatever to the next step up of like, okay, I want to get some actual recording equipment. What is like the basic budget that you would say is like have at least this much to spend on a microphone and like audio equipment or whatever?
There's great videos out there on the internet, and I'm pretty sure you can get away with. If you have $200 or $300, you can have a solid setup to get going.
That includes,
maybe even less. That includes an audio interface and a condenser and headphones.
Yeah.
You can mix in headphones, so you don't need monitors necessarily.
You probably could find it for less if you get like used ones too, for sure. Yeah.
That's true.
Anything to add, Mark?
I would say just start. Don't go all out buying like expensive stuff.
Yeah.
It's not.
You don't need to.
I mean, if the thing is, just go and do it. If you really want to record something, there's really no excuse nowadays.
And nowadays, yeah. Back then we had to like figure out.
Oh my god, our whole setup, how we had it. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't even know if can we?
This is just we're going through all the formalities, and then we're gonna get through like some stuff. But
That'll make them appreciate GarageBand.
Yeah. I don't know. Just say it. Just say what.
Oh my goodness.
What did you guys have to do? Back in the day, what did you have to do
we
to
had a
get?
mixer.
We had that powered mixer.
we have
the
a
Yamaha
Yamaha
mixer.
EMX
Okay.
860.
And then it was all our instruments were plugged into that.
Yep.
Then
So
it
that's
was-
that's what you would use to go to the PA system, right? Like if you were
Yes,
playing
yeah,
music
so it's
live, right?
Yeah, we would go out from there.
That
then
is like
I'll-
the mixer is kind of like the head of the of the sound system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
So you take that
We didn't have any audio interface. That
audio
wasn't
interface.
a thing.
It
back
was-
into the
then.
computer.
It was,
Yeah.
No
what
USB
kind
out.
of cables can we get to plug into
Yeah.
auxiliary on the
RCL
computer?
into
RCA
the
out.
microphone jack of this Dell computer with Ukulele Pro. And so it was all that sound went into that. It was one channel.
One.
Yeah.
like an 1/8" jack, or
Yeah, Asian jack. So we took this entire powered mixer and
my
we
headphone.
condensed it all the way to a 1/8" jack, which
just
is put
using like Radio Shack cables or
Yes,
something.
yes.
Adapters on adapters.
It was there was a picture of the adapter that we made, but then we realized after that we didn't need to do all that fancy adapter.
and like
You could have taken out like half the adapters.
Yeah. and we just used whatever like Nady mics back then. So we didn't even have like Shure SM58s. I think we had one Shure
we had
mic.
one.
Oh, yeah,
Or
yeah.
whatever. I think Dad had his
Dad
Dad had
wanted-
one
Dan-
Shure mic.
Dan had his wireless, I remember.
Yeah. But then because when I bought my sound system, it came with these like Nady mics.
Yeah,
and
that
they're
was
just-
it was bundled with
yeah,
musician's friend.
exactly.
When you
And
bought from
they
musician's
looked
friend.
like SM58s, but
Yeah.
they were like, they were just generic. And I guess Nady is it's like a not necessarily name brand, but it's kind of like
That's what we had.
yeah, it's basically what we had, and we plugged into that, and we took the RCA out, which is just like the left and right audio, which is like the red and white wire. We plugged that into the mixer, and then those two we condensed into. We took this one converter that took the two left and right wire channels, from the big mixer that we had, which came into this 1/4 inch, and then we had one thing that converted the 1/4 inch to an 1/8 inch, which then
headphone jack.
yeah,
And then
which
that goes into the headphone jack.
headphone,
Mic
yeah,
in-
mic-
or the
yeah,
mic-
mic jack
microphone jack
of,
into your computer.
of Mark's Dell laptop.
The green port.
Yeah,
green
the
port.
green port.
The
Yeah, the
green
green
port.
port. So, we seriously had to like figure out like
creative.
how because
We
and
couldn't YouTube this.
Mark got a copy of Cool Edit Pro, and Cool Edit Pro was was like basically the coolest thing that ever happened to us, because that got us to record ourselves and to put it out there, put our music out there, and it's. Could you explain Cool Edit Pro, Mark? It's an audio interface. Let's
It's
start with
a
that.
DAW, a digital audio workstation.
It's like,
Workstation, yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a just.
Like GarageBand.
It's like GarageBand, but not as pretty.
Yeah. It's just
It
the
is
earliest
very-
version of that.
Just okay. You know how like software used to look like back in Windows 95
Yeah.
days. So, just like that,
Yeah.
and you have your waveform. There's just
There's some
just-
cool effects.
just some
though.
cool
Remember the
effects that you could
the
do.
built-in
Yeah.
effects.
But I don't know how to describe. Like it's sort of looking like what I'm seeing in front right now with our
Yeah.
screen. But yeah, I think later though we figured out we could do multi-track. I mean not multi-track, but like we figured we can record like the drums first.
Yeah, and then layer the tracks.
We
yeah.
realized after we could layer now.
Yeah.
That took us a while to get to there because we were just recording everything at once like old school jazz recordings, right?
Like Bob Marley.
Okay,
Everyone play. Everyone
play.
don't mess up. Nobody mess
Don't
up.
mess up. But I don't think we even had a metronome. We didn't play it to a
I still
click,
don't hear.
right?
Still don't have a
Why you
metronome.
gotta call us out like that, Mark? You're a drummer.
I was off. Let me tell you, I know I was off. So whenever those recordings were released, but
Yeah.
Coolnet
No.
Pro was just the most simplest, but
It was
pretty,
what we had at the time.
But that's
Yeah,
all
so
we
we had,
had.
so we had.
And it was free.
So yeah.
That's what it mattered.
Yeah, so that's why I'm giving that advice of whatever you have, just use that because whatever you have right now
it
is
will lead to the next thing.
it's like a lot more than we had like back in like 2000 when when all we had was a Dell laptop and Cool Edit Pro. And I guess we had a mixer, but we
And
were like
Radio
live
Shack
musicians,
wires.
so we just had stuff laying around the house that we could use, And
Yep.
we didn't have like a recording studio that recorded in. Like Daniel would take his wireless mic and go to Mark's garage bathroom and like record his vocals in the bathroom.
For the reverb.
Yeah, it just felt right. I don't know.
It was like we wanted to get that feel, I guess, that as if we were in an isolation
Yeah,
booth.
now that you mention it, it sounds kind of weird. Like, why did I do that? I don't know.
It's an isolation booth.
Yeah, that's right.
You were isolated from the
We
garage.
had automatic reverb with that.
Yeah.
We didn't need to add effects after. We're very just using whatever the environment was.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that sounds good. That's good enough.
And like the stuff that came out of that garage like went viral. It's pretty amazing.
That's
How many
amazing.
people were bumping those songs like in their
couldn't-
cars and their MySpaces and their it's crazy on their iPods at back. See all
And you
this
hear those
jargon
little
like
things, bro. I would listen to those recordings like, bro, if people only knew this was in Mark's garage. Dude. Like, listen to all these little
Yeah.
mistakes that I'm making. And we're not gonna keep it.
Hey,
I messed up this one.
throwback. Good throwback. I love it. So it can be seriously anything. Just work with whatever you have and make do with with whatever, because it's like I said, it's probably leagues better than what we had back then. So at your fingertips, you have access to making some great recordings and great music. So speaking of playing in a band back then and stuff. So the three of us we're half of the one-time band. So we played all around Kauai. We played all, like I said, all the graduation parties and whatever. We paid our dues, gentlemen. We played at all these places, and of all graduation parties, we played at like Filipino graduation parties where like apparently it's against the rules to clap.
Yeah, you don't show emotions after those sets.
But
How dare you?
Yeah, you just
It's like mass.
So with the people nowadays, like they want to perform for people, they want to like put themselves out on YouTube or do open mics and whatnot. What kept you going, like in those times when you went to a party and nobody clapped at anything, no matter how good we were doing, no matter like
I think
nobody
you already
clapped
know.
for anything.
I
Like
think you already know. We're there for food, dude. We're there for food.
We're there because
we weren't complaining. I mean, it took us hours to set off.
we're there for exposure.
Yeah, we're there for oh my God.
Yeah. That's the word, right? Yeah, it's for exposure. Because one of those uncles, you know, what if one of those uncles was Filipino uncles that could barely speak English?
Yeah.
What if one of them was in contact with like a record label? Or whatever? We just never knew. You know, you just played for whoever would listen to us. It was tough times. It was really tough times.
Yeah,
we
we're so young, man.
to come to our old shows, you know. But yeah, it was. What was it like? Like you were straight out of high school. Too,
I was
you know?
the baby in the band. You remember when we played Oahu? I wasn't even 18, and we played in a 21 and over venue.
Yeah.
And honestly,
What was that like?
thinking back, I just remember having fun. It was like a field trip. That's it, for real. Like honestly, it was like a field trip. I always felt like, man, back then I was such a little kid. I was amused by every little thing. And yeah, just have fun. We were doing it for at that time. We were doing it for the right reason. I was anyway. I just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
And I had no crazy expectations. It was just, it felt right. And you guys are my friends, and it was just what we did. Play music.
Tell me this though, because we played you wrote most of the songs, if not all the songs that one time played. You know, besides the cover tunes that we did. What was it like to share music that's like so personal to you, you know, like
That's a good
and like
question.
going on stage and basically like pouring your heart out to these people. Like what's that like?
Thought of that, dude. Yeah, it's.
We've never asked you that.
Because I mean, like,
Wow.
it is not about me and
Uh-huh.
stuff, but you know, like, I've
question.
traveled and I've done that, and I asked myself that. So I gotta. So now that I have you on this chair, like, I gotta ask you that. What's that like for you?
Not easy, bro.
Yeah, that's a piece of yourself,
Right.
that, like,
And you know, that's why I'm also
Yeah.
very sensitive about like my old music. I honestly can't stand it. But
I love it. I did a cover of your song.
I know.
Like recently too.
I know
Like,
you did. I know you did. That's okay. Still love you. No, but back then it was. You guys already know the story of just like where I started writing those songs from. I was just a kid, and just I never really thought about it at the time. But looking back, I definitely should have been more. I guess I wasn't as.
you weren't as scared.
When I
You just-
wasn't. I was definitely. I was an
fearless.
open book.
You're actually pretty fearless.
Yeah.
You were.
I don't know what it was. Maybe I just enjoyed it so much, and I was caught up in the moment. But looking back, man, like
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that the same. I mean, I can, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Just as a songwriter, that's kind of just what you do, and you just learn to enjoy it, I guess. But you guys never asked me that question.
Was it
That's
cathartic for you? You know, in some ways, getting,
maybe so.
or just it was just fun.
It was an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an opportunity, and I guess I never really considered how I felt about it at all.
Is it kind of like you when you're a kid and you learn how to skateboard? It's just like, oh yeah, you just go on a skateboard. But as an adult, you learn how to skateboard. You're like, I'm not doing that. I could hurt myself.
Right. I guess at the time I was not paying attention to the
Right.
rules or whatever, you know.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty deep question.
Yeah, because I mean, now with like all this like mental health awareness and stuff, it's tough for people to like put themselves out there because like people are mean, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
especially now with the age of the internet, we're talking about digital stuff and technology.
I don't think we didn't have that.
Yeah.
So at the time, I mean, if people didn't like it, they didn't really have anyone to tell me. What are you
No
gonna do,
one
not
could really
clap
tell
after
us
our set?
anything, right? They
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to
Like
like.
everybody else?
What you do? Not clap?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've played those parties.
Yeah. We've never not played those parties, let me tell you. I'm more worried about the people clapping.
Hey, I'm not used to that. What is that sound?
It's my auntie, guys. Thank you.
Oh man.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah, you know, because I was just talking to my wife about this, and she asked me that question because one of like like Instagram has these memories or Facebook has these memories and stuff that shows you like pictures from back then.
Yeah.
And there's like a picture. We went to this we played in this place in Korea, and we went to this kind of basement thing. and they had like a little setup in the basement where there's a bunch of people, and like on the way down to this thing, there's like posters of me like on the wall and stuff. You know, like how they just
Like a shrine?
no,
Oh,
like
okay.
you know, like how do I
street-
explain it?
street
Yeah, like the
team
street
puts
team
up, like,
puts
you know.
posters and
wow.
stuff. Like, so whoever like put up that thing had like, you know, had our posters on the walls and walked out, and it's just the most awkward situation. I told my wife, I'm like, I didn't quite know, but then like and people know this now, like because of the rise of K-pop and stuff, but like Koreans are very into like whoever they're, you know, like whoever they listen to, like whoever like they are feeling at the moment, like whichever artist that they like, they learn the lyrics, they learn whatever it is, you know, like
learn
that
your
person's
life.
favorite
K-pop
food,
fans are
blood type,
hard.
or whatever, you know. So we played, and like I didn't know how to react to people like singing along to like songs that I write, and I'm just like, this is weird, right? Like I would look at Aaron, I'm like, this is not normal, right? Like, what is this?
Because it
What is
doesn't
this
happen
feeling?
on Kauai.
It does not, you know. Like I'm used to
Definitely
Filipino
doesn't.
parties, like that's what I grew up on. I paid my dues, like playing those kind of parties, and I'm not used to claps. It's always weird for me. So I figured I'd ask that now that I have you on the, you know, on the chair. And it's just like, it's very personal, you know, like those songs, like songs that I wrote that they're singing about, like these people have like no idea, like, you know, how I felt or whatever. But I mean, when they sing it, they have their own feelings and their own emotion, which is a whole nother thing, you know. But it's such a really, really, really cool feeling to just be on stage.
There's another question in the chat from Yoda. And so, kind of related, what artists do you like to follow, or what types of artists have inspired you to write songs in the styles that you have written in, you know, in the past?
Who's this question for?
You.
Or well, for any of you.
Yeah.
You are Mark. They know mine.
Mark?
For me, definitely Questlove.
The
Biggest
drummer's drummer.
drummer,
Yeah,
but not
he is,
only
yeah.
that is his knowledge of music in general and his history. Like he knows everything, and he connects it. The way how he connects it to is amazing, because he can tell you too during that certain period of time of what was happening around the world in that region, and how that influenced the music that for that artist that created it. It's fascinating. He's definitely, for me, the biggest music influence. Kind of like up there with, you know, before that it was Jake, and because I was really into ukulele, and from Questlove though, that became branches that went any musicians that kind of connected with that. So like Jay Dilla is just a producer that I really like, but and I don't know who else. They honestly, I would say that Dan, you've been like an influence.
I was gonna say that
That
too.
like straight up,
up.
Dan has been an influence in how I like to listen to things, especially his style. And I think we kind of have a similar style. So, and we always talk a lot about music because we always share. We did a sharing session last night, which was freaking awesome. But kind of like, these two guys, just their influence on me has been for sure up there. I put them up there with like the artists that I just mentioned.
Side note, I was actually telling Aaron and Kahai that you went to a Roots concert and caught one of Questlove's drumsticks.
Oh no, that was 311. I caught.
I thought that was the Roots. So you caught Chad Sexton?
Yes.
I thought it was the Roots at
the Roots was
Hard Rock Cafe on Oahu.
It was not hard. It was the oh my god, what was that place? World. Oh my gosh, I don't know the name anymore. It was like in God. What's that gentrified area?
Whoa!
Yeah. Whoa. Well, I knew what you were talking about also.
You know what I'm talking. Let's be real. Let's be real.
Okay.
When I was at that,
when I
was at that Roots
Try to play
concert,
it.
it was. I remember the area not as nice as how it was now.
Yeah.
But it was in that. It was. I forget what that place was called, but that's where that concert was. But then 311. Oh yeah, they were a good band. I remember those. Oh my god.
That now I'm way more
Jeez.
jealous.
Even more jealous.
That
You guys
were
introduced me to 311.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The day.
Mike
Yeah, yeah,
Fernandez,
yeah.
who was the bass player for this band.
Yes.
He was obsessed with 311.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So how about you, Dan? Who do you listen to?
I don't even know how to answer this question, man.
Or who have been your influences like throughout?
I know
So
one
when
guy.
you-
I know one guy.
Okay, so these guys know. When I first started making music,
I know one guy.
I was
I just say-
obsessed with Craig David.
They're like,
Yeah. He
was
was great.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, he's awesome.
great. It's good.
He's-
Yeah.
That's my boy. Like, we're good friends in my imagination. And, no, I was really into his music around the time when I got into music. And so a lot of the things that I did, I just pretty much just borrowed from him, like down to a lot of stuff. So he was initially one of my biggest inspirations. And over the years, there's
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder,
Wonder.
Frank Ocean.
Only because,
um,
and I say that because the first time we met, it was like at this church camp. And I was like, who's this guy singing in the shower? It's like that kind of communal shower and stuff. And he's just on the top of his lungs, he's like, isn't she lovely? I was like, who is that? He sounds good. Like, I'm not telling him to shut up or anything. Like, but just who is that? Like, there's a lot of
I didn't
confidence.
feel comfortable playing ukulele. Ronin.
Oh, you knew. That's right. You knew who I was.
Yes.
And so more on that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So music influences.
Yeah,
Frank
like you
Ocean.
said, yeah, Frank Ocean's been one more recently, and another really good songwriter and musician that I love that doesn't get a lot of attention. His name is James Fauntleroy. He's amazing. That's all you guys need to know. He's written a lot of your favorite songs.
You've also introduced me to Bobby Caldwell. Like that's some good stuff.
oh yeah, you got me into
Bobby.
Bobby Caldwell.
Yeah.
Gracie's first concert.
Oh really? Oh cool. That's right. He was at the Blue Note.
Blue Note,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah, cool beans. I didn't know you went to that. So Dan and I first met at that church camp, and I think we've talked about this story, but you knew who I was because your brother was
This story?
was in a
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is a good story. So, growing up, like I kind of said earlier, I wasn't the musician. I come from a family of musicians, but my younger brother, he was like the guy. He fit right in. He played ukulele really well. And, in my eyes, he was as good as it gets because I see him play really well. And that's like the best ukulele player I knew at the time. And he entered a competition, and I remember.
Kauai.
Yes, that's how I was actually introduced to Aldrine from that competition because I'm watching it on TV, a replay of it, and I watched my brother, and I think my mom was backing him up,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Tico.
"Yeah, he got this, And then Aldrine goes on, and I remember it was like a straight betrayal. I was like. Yeah, my brother is losing right now. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that you were a person. Like, what? I didn't even know that was possible,
It was Mike was backing me up then. The same
Wow, I
bass
didn't
player that
even
we
know
were
Mike was
on,
playing
yeah.
bass.
Yeah, no, he was playing a guitar.
Guitar.
Yeah.
Was this the year?
He owed me one, that's why.
Is this the same one? No, wait.
Yeah, that was the Hana Pepe.
Yeah.
Hana Pepe. Mike was backing me up, and we played G minor fleas because I knew Roy Sakuma was judging the contest.
Oh,
so I had to play.
clever.
I had to play it to the judges.
Yeah, play it to the judges.
Roy Sakuma recorded Herb Walter Jr.'s track of G minor fleas, so he knew. So it was like I played
Ooh,
the
you
see?
gamed it.
Yeah, you know what? that's how you play the game.
Well, you
baby.
could have played anything. You could have
So anyway,
played
keep
My
going,
Dog
yeah.
Had Fleas and you would have won.
So
Yeah, and that's really the end of the story.
well,
He
no. So
actually
fast
thought-
forward to the church camp.
Wait, you
Oh,
you
yeah.
saw him on this, and
So
you
that's
guys-
how I knew this guy was
So
a
you just knew
ukulele
from there.
assassin. Yeah.
How long ago then?
Yeah, no. And so when I saw Aldrine, because at the time it was like, I thought I was gonna be the guy with the ukulele, That's, But when I saw he had his, I was like, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy.
At church camp.
Yeah,
You
but
thought
that's
you were
where
going to
we-
be the church
yeah.
camp
Yeah.
ukulele guy.
Yes.
which actually you became the assassin at that point because like I heard you play, And then I was like, yeah, well, can you play me a song? Can you play an original song then? And then bam, he plays for me the song called Picture. And I'm like, okay, all right, you win.
That's
buddy.
all I had.
That song
That's
is
all I
great.
had.
Like that is an amazing, very well written song. From there, day one, huge fan, Daniel.
Oh, dude, that's funny because that would end up being
You
one of the songs.
assassinated. I did. You assassinated me.
Man. But that's funny that we ended up playing that song
Yeah.
in the band that we made.
Yeah.
Like
That's-
when you go back and you think of all those
It
things.
hurts every time.
Dude, I can't even drive past that place without thinking about you, bro.
Because I was like, oh, I'm gonna one up this guy and stuff. Like, oh, if you're so good,
Well, in my mind, you still.
no. It was awesome, man. And I remember that song. Yeah, you played that song. I was like, that is, and I couldn't get it out of my head. Like the rest of the weekend, I'm like, and it was, I don't know how did we hook up afterwards?
I'm not exactly sure, but we did.
Yeah.
And that's when I met Seth. I want to say, didn't I?
Oh, he went
up with
to
you guys at
Seth's house. We were recording at. Oh my.
No, before that.
Oh really?
Remember there was brown bags.
Yeah.
Remember the brown bags
the
I didn't
State Sisters,
qualify
yeah.
for? I couldn't perform for brown bags because
Because
your boy had bad grades. Yeah, we're not gonna beat around the bush.
Well,
I couldn't make grades.
Brown
Brown Bags
Bags
is
was
starting.
like a high school
Talent show.
Talent
High
show.
school state
Talent
competition.
show.
So it was
Yeah.
a big deal. And I remember I let down a lot of my friends because they were expecting me to play and I couldn't make grades, so they wouldn't let me play. But I think I ended up playing anyway. But it was unofficial.
You played Filipino book during the intermission. Because I'm like, how's this guy on stage? That's the guy. That's the guy from church camp.
But you couldn't compete because
I
it was,
couldn't. It was off the books.
Yeah.
They were tallying the scores.
Yeah.
And I went up and okay, so a little thing about how I got into music. It was all a big joke for me initially. Before I started writing real songs, I was a class clown. And music was the way that I could make everybody laugh. So my very, very first songs were just parody songs. It was like that was my way in. And once I realized people were actually listening, I was like, oh, maybe I can slip in real songs. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a funny story, dude.
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah, we met up then, and
That's when I met Seth
and then we invited you over to Seth's kitchen.
to record.
So even before Mark, we recorded in our keyboard player. Seth is our keyboard player for this band, so it's all connected.
Yeah.
And he had a computer, a desktop that we installed Mark's like Cool Edit Pro, his copy of Cool Edit Pro. We installed on that computer.
That copy must have spread so. My gosh.
And we were recording at Seth's kitchen, and that was the first recording of Daniel's
I
song
remember
"Perfect Together."
Can I explain how the
Yeah,
signal
go ahead,
flow
go
was?
ahead, go ahead.
Okay, guys. There was no direct input to the mixer at all. We recorded using a microphone to his speakers. And that's how we recorded.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't have that old recording, but I want to. Do you have
I think I do.
Okay, we
I think
gotta
I do.
find it.
So yeah, it was like we didn't figure out the whole like
How to
mixer
connect it
to whatever
to the computer.
But
Yes.
yeah, but Seth had like I guess because in his house they played like MMO RPGs and stuff like Asheron's Call, so they had like I guess like headsets like with microphones and stuff.
Yeah.
So we just took the computer microphone and whatever we recorded in order to mix everything down, we recorded through that.
Yeah.
So we took the speaker, put it next to the
microphone to the computer.
and fed it back
and fed it back in. That's it was,
Gosh.
It was so.
Yeah.
Oof,
I mean, that's
man.
that's sort of the equivalent of what people can do with their phones now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just hold it up to the speaker, right?
Yeah, that was some tough times. That was fun. That was fun. I have that recording somewhere. I won't share it or anything. Maybe you.
Kaneo was there too.
Yes, Kaneo was there. Hokuaki was there.
Ali was there the second time.
Yeah, that's right. We have various recordings of of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
song, and you brought some friends over and stuff,
Yeah.
and you had some guy singing super low.
You remember that too?
I
That's
do.
funny.
I've the memory of an elephant when it comes to these things.
Oh, man, good times.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, we're telling all these stories just to kind of give you guys an idea of like what you can do if you just put your mind to to stuff, right? Like if you really want to put yourself out there, if you want to if you want to be a musician, or if you just want to share your music, like there's various different ways of going at it, and you're definitely not limited as long as you have an ukulele, or not even that, as long as you have a song to share, like you have a phone, like you can share that song.
Share it.
Yeah, share.
Even if just for the memories, because it's something to look back on and
Yes.
just enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, we've started to talk on this podcast before about that, where it's like recording is like a snapshot of who you are musically
Yeah.
at the time.
Moment.
So
Yeah.
even if you're not happy with it later,
Yeah.
or
Doesn't
like,
matter. Yeah,
like
that's not
oh
who you
yeah,
are. Yeah.
this like I didn't write those lyrics well, or like I didn't play as well as I could have. It's like it's still just a snapshot
Of who you were.
of who you actually were at that time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we've.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite gig that you played?
Why?
Yeah.
Why does this have to come up?
No, I mean, I'm not asking what the worst gig was. We know what the worst gig was. What's their favorite gig?
Are we gonna talk about?
No. I don't want to bring that up. I don't want to bring
Stay
that
on the
up.
rails.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're from Oahu. You know all about rails. No. Anyway,
Oh, he did
what is
it.
your favorite gig?
I gotta go now? No. Okay, my favorite.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
With us or without us, regardless. So what's your
No,
favorite
no,
gig
no.
of all time?
My favorite, although it's like I don't really remember all the little details, I would say, remember that Word of Life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I was there.
Oh, you were there? Oh, that's right. You filmed.
I filmed.
Yeah, you.
Oh
Yeah,
my
remember
gosh.
for I Am Hawaii.
Yeah.
For
Oh, yeah.
not podcast, but old website. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It was there.
It was
Yeah,
just
that
like
was fun.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
Ace
yeah.
Loftmiller. And
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
was like a
Yeah,
good
so
time.
so before we started Ukulele Underground, we were doing stuff for a website called iamhawaii.com, and that's where we kind of came up with the idea of putting ukulele lessons online. But before that, Ryan and I had the idea of just going around and talking to local musicians, putting together like EPKs for them. Like that's not even really a term anymore, but
Yeah.
electronic press kits for them. And so the first one that we ever did was for Dan. And I remember like recording him like in the I Am Hawaii
was like an
office.
interview.
Yeah, the interview.
man, I forgot about that.
We have it somewhere because we cleaned out our office in order to move here, and we have it somewhere. So
That's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, yeah. So
Yeah.
we have all that stuff, man. We.
yeah. So
Evidence.
I remember. Yeah,
That would
I
be
went-
fun to kind of look
I
at
went to
all
that concert just to
Yeah.
get the B rolls so that we could shoot that promo.
Yeah. So why that particular one?
Okay, that.
Yeah.
You know what, why I liked it so much is because people had no idea that I was just a regular guy. You know what I mean? Like, guys, I do this out of my, we weren't big time at
Yeah.
all or anything.
Out of our
But-
apartment.
But they were caught up. You know what it was? Is the early times of the internet and social media. And we were kind of riding that early wave. And so it was just a cool feeling to get treated like somebody without, it was like big time imposter syndrome. But at the same time, it was cool because who doesn't like to feel important,
Yeah.
And they were just treating us, right? Weren't they
Yeah.
treating us like...
But you could say that now with all these like influencers, right? Like they're just whoever like started
Yeah,
a blog or an
true.
Instagram, and then they're like, oh yeah, I'm a somebody. Give me some hotel room or whatever, because
No.
I'm an influencer and I'll tell all my followers.
I guess musically it wasn't my favorite gig, but I feel like that's one of my most
That's cool.
memorable because
Cool.
of just the feeling that crowd gave us.
Yeah. The crowd was singing all of your
Right.
songs.
And I was like,
Yeah.
how do they know? We just put this on MySpace like the other day.
yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. Like people singing along, like those are your songs that you wrote from your feelings, from from your mind and heart, like that you're putting out there. How does that feel?
Yeah.
Man, that's a
Yeah. That
Something
place
to
was
think about.
packed too.
Yeah.
Because I remember like I was filming and I couldn't find a good place to film. And so I had to go up to the balcony. There was like a balcony section, and I had to film between people from the balcony just to get a good shot of the stage.
Wow.
Word of life.
Yeah.
Word of life. So explain Word of life. If people are like, I don't know what that is.
I
It's a
believe
church.
they're a
Yeah,
church
the
on
church.
Oahu in the gentrified area.
But they had like a huge concert hall.
Yes, they were known for,
Big concert.
throwing.
Yeah. Is that like where Imua plays and stuff? Or he's playing
No,
at
no.
a different church?
He plays at C4. That's the church.
Oh,
we
I
go
see.
to now.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's talk about churches with ukuleles and big names like Kapena plays and Imua plays and stuff. There's some nice churches on Kauai, on Oahu that like
Kale
some
plays for New Hope.
bangers. Yeah, New Hope. Oof,
Yeah.
some bangers up
And
there, man.
they do full on productions.
That's the one that Imua plays for. New Hope.
Before, like, we're kind of
Yeah.
getting close to the end, but there was a couple questions in the chat. Yoda and Rob were asking about your ukulele, and then Rob was asking
I thought
about,
it was just gonna be a fly on the wall that nobody talked
Yeah.
about today, but
yeah, and then Rob was asking about Dan's tattoos.
ooh,
Yeah, like
okay.
just
if you want to share,
Yeah.
So anyway, this ukulele, I just got it 2 days ago from Kanilea Ukulele. This is an Aldrine model, but a very, 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 very special Aldrine model that I've been waiting for years to have. This is years in the making collaboration between Joe Souza and I. This is a Sitka spruce top with a Brazilian rosewood back and sides. So this is like one of the last, if not the last, Brazilian rosewood set that Joe Souza has in his shop, or the Kanilea shop. I was very, very, very lucky to secure this, this wood set way back in, I want to say 2014, like a long, long, long time ago. So we finally built an ukulele with this. It's got some amazing features. I've always wanted that cutaway that they have, on their newer ukuleles. So this is their, their cutaway. There's a side port, so you can kind of, get a better sense of what the ukulele sounds like as the player. It also has this amazing relief here, so I'm gonna show that. So it looks like that. This is only available on 2 ukuleles.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, it's not available. So if you go and order a Kanilea, you couldn't get this. Like, this is something completely unique right now. The only 2 ukuleles that have this is this ukulele and the 2021 Platinum. This
Is that available yet, the Platinum?
Yeah, the Platinum is available. That's good, like $5-6 grand for that ukulele. or
It
whatever,
feels
you know?
amazing.
This
And
is
sounds.
it's kind of like if you've played like an electric guitar before, like a Stratocaster. It's the same idea, and this just makes it so comfortable to hold and to play, and this relief is everything. But yeah, just letting you guys know, like, this is not available on regular Kanileas currently. I don't know if
I'm
they're
sure
gonna
you
start
could custom order in the future, but
Yeah, but I mean, even if you custom order today and stuff,
Yeah,
you
you're not
couldn't-
gonna-
they're gonna be like, no, we don't do that. So this is something super duper unique, and I'm very, very, very stoked to and very lucky to have gotten. I usually go with just elegant ebony and stuff, but this time I went kind of blingy, just bling down on this, but not too much. It's still subtle. Paua abalone on the binding, and a small Paua abalone rosettes, just nice and subtle. Your normal silk neck mahogany. No, is this mahogany or I don't know what I think it's mahogany on the necks. I'm not too sure, but snakewood tuners. These Gilbert tuners. I usually use an ebony, but these are also snakewoods, which complements the the color of the instruments. And Gilbert tuners. The K is also Paua abalone. I usually have that in sand or bird's eye maple, but it's, my logo over here. This is me from the back. This with the long hair and stuff. That's my old logo, but that's also in Paua abalone. And this is just the prettiest ukulele that I've ever seen, that I own.
yeah, probably,
You know,
and the most expensive.
most expensive. I don't even want to talk about the price on this thing. It's
Because this is one of one.
yeah,
right
this
now,
is one of one. And just, you can't get Brazilian rosewood anymore. It's
Yeah.
it's illegal to get Brazilian rosewood.
Yeah. So
Like,
this was
yeah.
legally obtained prior
Yeah, prior to
the law.
prior to the law saying that you cannot have Brazilian rosewood anymore because they were over harvested, and you can get Indian rosewood, which is kind of that has the same properties and stuff, but it is not Brazilian
It's probably
rosewood.
going to be many, many, many years before Brazilian rosewood is.
Yeah, Brazilian rosewood was sought after, by like the best flamenco guitar makers, by just guitar makers in general, just like sought after this wood because of its sound. It pairs really nicely with the Sitka spruce. So the spruce is a super bright sound, whereas the Brazilian rosewood mellows that out. So it's a great combination. It's a very mellow sounding ukulele, and but it's mellow, but it's also got volume because of the spruce. And this is like master grade spruce. The spruce is measured by how many lines per inch, and they say, I don't know, like 10 or as I think 10 is like really good, whereas this like per inch it's got way past 10.
20,
I might be wrong on that, but like I know this is just
Whatever it
ridiculous.
is,
I've had luthiers kind of take a look at this this wood set that I have, and this is like the holy grail of like Sitka spruce that I basically went to Kanilea and looked at all their wood stashes, and I'm like, I want this one and this one. So I have
so the most expensive hardest to get ones.
yeah. Like, where's your Brazilian rosewood sets? Is it
Yeah.
back here somewhere?
Yeah.
So I don't know how many. I think he had 2 or 3 at that time.
Oh, man.
And this is one of them. And
Save
it's
this one
just-
for me. And then,
Yeah. So I put it
what
aside.
an honor.
Put it aside. Seriously, this is Kanilea. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You've made my dream ukulele, because this is my dream uke. I've always wanted a spruce top Brazilian rosewood combo, and it's just.
Me too.
Me three.
So that's this ukulele really is super duper special, and it's got the Aldrine signature on it also.
Yeah.
Just because that's cool, because that's fun. I don't know, like it's my new ukulele. I can't even put it down. Like Kahai set up the ukulele underground ukulele here for me. I'm like, no, put that away. Like I'm using this and I'm holding on to this thing. I don't know if I'm gonna be answering too many questions in my uke today, but I just want to be holding on to this. I don't trust my wife at home. I don't I don't trust anybody like with this thing. And my precious, So this is my brand new ukulele, and I'm super duper in love with it. I did a video, came out today, showcasing this ukulele. So check that out.
I have a
Ukulele
question.
Bristle. Yes.
Did you name her?
Yes.
Did you tell anybody yet?
No.
Are you going to?
This ukulele is named Senko. Senko, which is my daughter's middle name.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's right.
So El Senko Guerrero is my daughter's name. So this ukulele's name is Senko,
You sweetie.
Nice.
which is named after I think Heather's grandmother or great grandmother. Yeah, so it's one of those family
Sentimental,
names that
especially beautiful.
like Japanese family names that got like sent, passed down. So this is named after my daughter, Senko. Yeah. So tattoos.
Yeah, so Rob he came to the retreat last year.
Cool.
Yeah.
And he has a bunch of tattoos from like Hawaiian artists too. So like he's interested in
Simple story. So I mean, my grandpa had this tattoo. It was actually on his ankle. He got it in Tahiti. He passed away, and I wanted to just honor him, and so I got the same tattoo. And I had, I took some liberties around, but basically I got this as a reminder of him, and he's kind of like the musical side of my family, and we weren't super close, so this is supposed to be like
show it
a
on the
reminder
camera.
of him. Sure.
There it is. Are you gonna show the one that says Aldrine across your chest, or?
I mean, we'll save that one for
Okay,
later. I'm not supposed to tell him, dude. Then I have a treble clef. Nothing too
cool
fancy.
beans,
Treble
man.
clef. This is to remind me of how the first letter of my name looks like a D when it's upside down. No. And then my most important tattoo.
Oh,
Can you see that?
yeah. Cool. It's fun. I was thinking of getting one that says like, "If lost, please call." Like,
You need my number? That's funny.
But that's cool, man.
Tattoos?
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's good when when they're meaningful, and that's why like I don't have any because I can't decide on like what I want to put in my body that I'm gonna have forever that is gonna symbolize something, and that's cool. And I'm jealous of people that have like something that they totally believe in, that they would put it in their body, like put it on their body, and then like it's meaningful and a symbol of something. It's cool. I respect that, man.
Thanks, dude.
No, for real, yeah. That's like something that I could, I just don't have that kind of commitment.
Yeah, that's not for everyone.
Commitment issues. So yeah, so Mark, you have tattoos?
Not ones that I want to show.
Oh, okay.
Not for this podcast.
Not for this one.
That's for after hours.
All right, guys. Anything else you guys want to tell the audience?
I want to say thank you guys for having us. Thank you to Ukulele Underground, Aldrine, Kahai, Aaron. Nice to see you guys. It's been a crazy time, but it's nice to be in the presence of friends, man. It's important,
Absolutely.
guys. Now more than ever, it's important to be around people you care about and just talking about good times, man. This is so good.
Yeah, I was telling Mike. Mike was the guest last week. That like our guests just keep getting better and better. Because we had Andrew Molina, which is a professional ukulele player from Maui. Then we had Jake Shimabukuro. And then we had Mike Odo. And now we have Daniel Cummings. So it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, stepping it up, like, it's for real. No, this means a lot more to me than, I mean, I love all those other guys and stuff, but because we've basically, like.
History.
Yeah, it's our history, and we've sharpened our, our musical blades together, like Ronins, like samurais of the old past. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
us. Seriously. And we cut down all those Filipino graduation parties with our blades,
Yeah.
On to the next one.
I'd never go back to one of those. Just kidding.
We couldn't survive. Didn't eat us alive, man. We're like,
No,
you
I
guys don't want
know.
to clap? Don't you guys have hands?
Yeah, and everybody started off with ukulele.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta just tell this real quick one.
Yeah.
My introduction to Mark, this guy was the OG ukulele assassin.
Yes.
Yeah.
What grade were we in?
Yeah,
You
he-
were in?
He assassinated me at that contest that
first-
I
I
did.
went to
contest
St.
that
Catharines
you-
with him.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing him like, okay, we have a playground, dude. Why don't you want to play on the playground? This guy's on the side. We must have been little kids. And he's over there just sharpening his sword, ready for battle.
Ukulele sword.
Mark
Wait,
was
how
ready for blood.
how did you get into ukulele, Mark?
How did I get into it?
Yeah.
It's funny. My cousins.
Okay.
My cousins.
Same with me.
My cousins.
My cousins.
It was everyone was just. It was like at the time when, it was whatever was popular.
Yeah.
Like Pogs was popular during that time.
Uh-huh.
Whatever was popular during that time in the 90s. But
Yeah.
ukulele was really popular.
Uh-huh.
And my cousins had a uke. My neighbors had a uke, and I just wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Straight
fit
up.
in and then
That's
some,
it.
bro.
I just wanted to hang
And
out.
nobody else could fit.
And that's pretty much it. But then I think like we just fully you know when I think about it, it was just like a video game playing the ukulele.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's like
He's
you
level
learn
up,
you
yeah.
learn like little. We were just learning chords. It's like, oh, that song, yeah, and then you start to learn other part. You just slowly start leveling up, and then from there, I just got really
And
obsessed.
then the levels increased because it
Yeah.
was like
Increase.
Ka'au Creative Boys or like
Yeah.
well, all we had at the beginning was like Kapena, Ka'au Creative
Right.
Boys, and that was hard enough.
Yeah.
right.
And then Mark mastered all those levels, and then Pure Heart came out, and then like, oh no, this is what I'm gonna do for the next 5 years.
It was a total obsession during high school. It was just that. I remember, I just wanted to play. I used to just, from that point on it was just my video game.
Yeah.
I just play in the morning right before school. I'd listen to a CD and just rewind, tap. It was stuck. Everything was stuck in a loop for me, like the whole day.
You're obsessed.
I was just obsessed. It was my only outlet to kind of like stay in there. And then I knew it was weird, and I was just quiet because it was like, no, people are gonna think I'm crazy just playing this same like pattern over and over and over and over. But did it just because I couldn't turn it off. And so like Dan, if you're watching me, it was just like every opportunity I had. That
Makes sense now.
I just was like, I didn't care. I really did not care. I was just like, this is stuck in my head.
It's called passion.
It was the only thing, was my only thing.
Yeah, that's
And-
funny.
And I just built from there. Then I met other people that were just as obsessed.
Yeah.
And you know, that ukulele festival when you met there, that was life changing for me.
Yeah.
That was like,
It's
oh my
cool.
gosh, I was like, I can't believe there's another guy like this on island that's just as obsessed with this song, this instrument.
It's
And
cool because like we were like, oh, could we have a band with two ukulele
right,
players?
that was it.
And you guys were doing it for a while, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were doing like ukulele harmonies and stuff.
Oh
It
yeah,
was awesome.
yeah. I remember you were like
Yeah.
because like we both played. It's like, oh, how about I do this part like this? Is like
Because
what?
I've never, like you, I never met anyone like that was obsessed with the ukulele as I was. So like finding someone, I'm like, oh, and being in band and knowing music theory, and I'm like, okay, if you play that, I could do this.
And that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool because I didn't know, like Dan. This is funny because I didn't know music theory.
Yeah.
I was just sort of just like him. But then the bridge here was Aldrine who knew all this stuff and said, "This is why you did what you do, and this is why like this." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, that makes sense." And then from there, you know, fast forward to like, I got introduced to Dan, reintroduced to Dan because I just knew of him. And I was like I was just knew of him. But then when I think it was Ryan's place when I first introduced him. It was like an audition.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, oh, we got
Well, you got Mark's vote, you got my vote, but you need to audition for Ryan
Right.
because Ryan is I remember that?
I've been so nervous.
I remember, yes. And I remember that, like, I was sold. And I remember you played Craig David because, and you know, I think me and you, Dan, like, I guess we found out we had similar musical styles.
Yeah.
And with that was just this bridge of ukulele. But I also, not only that I love the instrument, I just love music, and particularly a certain style that I really like was just R&B soul. That style that me and Dan really kind of got together, and from there it was just, this is just how that came about. It was basically just to hang out with friends, to be honest. Like seriously, music was just to hang out with friends.
Yeah, man.
Moral of the story: ukulele brings people together and changes lives, guys.
for real.
Yeah, it's funny because like Aldrine said, we had Andrew Molina on, and his story is the exact same as yours, Mark. Right?
Yeah,
like
but
you
he was
know,
just obsessed with it.
yeah. So for podcast listeners, go listen to Andrew Molina's episode, and he says a lot of the same kind of things, and so that's basically the ticket to getting good is just like just repeating the same thing over and over
Passion.
and not really caring what anybody else thinks, and just doing it for the love of it, or for, you know, to satisfy that feeling, that craving that you have inside.
It was
to-
an itch. Just had to
An
keep.
itch.
I just had to keep scratching it, like literally till my fingers got so. You know, it's,
But that's because you were obsessed and because you did those drills and stuff. Whereas like someone like me who knew the music theory, who knew the notes, that's why I was kind of sloppy when playing, because I knew like, oh, as long as I play this, it's correct or whatever.
yeah.
Whereas Mark did the hard labor of like playing well, you know, like and actually playing on time and just cleaning up my act really, because I was very sloppy like back in the day. So working with Mark, you know, on playing ukulele and showing me how he does stuff, like, and just kind of bouncing ideas off each other. So I would teach him, you know, like music theory and things that you could do with the ukulele, whereas Mark was kind of teaching me the things that he learned, you know.
it was very reciprocal.
Yeah, man.
It was really
cool.
awesome because it was like we kind of filled each other's gaps.
Yeah.
And just to see where you are now is just
Amazing, dude.
amazing. Blows my mind away. And the fact that, like, you know, that it came kind of full circle with a month ago when you because I, you know, that you did a thing for the library
Oh, yeah,
system.
yeah.
That right there was like my dream kind of like
was
library
Jake and
program.
myself.
I wish that was live.
Yeah.
But you know,
I think, isn't there a recording of that somewhere?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I did a Hawaii public library system.
Library, HSPLS.
Yeah,
virtual
so
program. Yeah.
They do this thing now, and I talked about this on the podcast before, where you can rent or borrow ukuleles with your library card from libraries all around Hawaii. And Jake and I were part of that program. Jake was like the main host and the main guy of the thing, but Mark got those guys to get a hold of me, and I became a part of it, and that was really cool, man.
That was really cool.
Yeah,
that was
really all
fun.
Mark, man. Yeah, because they got, I guess, like Glenn Medeiros, which is a really cool guest.
Dr. Glenn Medeiros.
Dr. Glenn Medeiros. On that show. And then Mark's like, well, what about Aldrine? He's like from Kauai. He plays ukulele, right? You should get him to do something. I'm like, thank you, Mark. I do play ukulele. Just from here. Yeah. So, with that, Mark, with your story, with your very inspirational talk, I don't see any better way to end this podcast. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this, you can totally listen to this by downloading it with whatever your favorite podcast downloading machine app thingy that you use. Okay? So but thank you so much. Really, these are my friends, and I'm very, 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 very happy that they could be here, that they could share some of their stories, and I'm stoked to just kind of reminisce on the good old days. And thank you so much for listening. We appreciate every single one of you folks. Have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow for Aloha Friday Live Jam. Aloha.
Cheers.